the murder of Dr. Gwendolyn Riddick. Dr. Gwendolyn Riddick, OBGYN, was born in Okoski, North Carolina on March 24, 1983, to Selma and Carlton Riddick. She was often called Pooh Bear by her grandmother, Lois Walton. Dr. Riddick had 5 other siblings. Dr. Riddick was also the mother to Anaya and to John Michael Jr. Best words to use to describe Dr. Gwendolyn is an overcomer, compassionate, caring, respectable, and driven. She was devoted to her children and raised them to be go-getters, strong and resilient with an abundance of love. Building a legacy for them was most important to her. Dr. Riddick graduated from Gates County High School with the class of 2001 as a valedictorian and a class president while expecting her daughter Anaya. She furthered her education at East Carolina University, graduating at the top of her class. Continuing on her path to becoming a doctor, she then got accepted to medical school at Virginia College of Osteopathic Medicine in Blackberry, Virginia, where she graduated magna cum laude on top of her class yet again. She was also a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. On July 30, 2023, at 2:44 p.m., Eden Police Department officers was dispatched to Freedom Park regarding a shooting in progress. Patrol officers were on the scene within 1 minute of being dispatched. When officers came closer and closer to the crime scene, they found Dr. Riddick next to her red Ford Mustang, suffering from numerous gunshot wounds. The shooting happened in the parking lot of the multi-use field building. Officers provided aid to Dr. Riddick until Rockingham County EMS arrived. After that, Riddick was transferred to Rockingham Hospital, where she was pronounced dead at 3 p.m. Dr. Gwendolyn Riddick was shot by John Michael Powell, a man that she was involved with for a time, but later decided to go their separate ways. They also shared a child together. Everyone was shocked when it was known that Dr. Riddick was shot and killed by her child's father. Investigators had determined that this incident was a result of ongoing domestic issues between the duo. Before being apprehended by police, John tried to flee the scene by escaping in his Chevy Avalanche. After a consultation with Rockingham County District Attorney Jason Ramey, the suspect is facing charges. Reportedly, John has been charged with 1 count of first-degree murder and 1 count of discharging a weapon in occupied property. Furthermore, John was issued no bond on all his charges and is set to appear in Rockingham County District Court. Dr. Riddick loved to spend time with her family, and she also loved to read. She enjoyed attending church at the Mount in Chesapeake, Virginia, under the leadership of Bishop Kim Brown. Gwen loved the Lord, and she also loved the Mount. Her faith and relationship with God grew dramatically once she joined. Before she passed, she stated that she was at her highest spiritual and the strongest she's ever been in her life. Gwen also loved to exercise and encourage others around her to do so as well, even working out on her lunch break because she believed it was important to stay active. Gwen was dedicated to anything she put her mind to. The medical community was so shocked to hear about Dr. Gwendolyn Riddick's death. She was such a loving and kind and compassionate human being. No one ever suspected that her relationship with her child's father was so abusive and that there was so much issues involved that he would come to the point that he would take her life and take her away from her children and the legacy that she built around that community. It was a cowardly and senseless act. In a 2022 interview with her local paper, Riddick explained how she always knew from she was a little kid that she wanted to be a doctor. Dr. Riddick stated, "You know when you ask a little kid what they wanted to be in life? That's what I've always said because I wanted to help people. I didn't know what kind of doctor. I've always been inspired to help others. It's just something I've always had in my heart." When Dr. Riddick became pregnant at the age of 17, that did not deter her from pursuing her goal whatsoever. Her parents was her biggest supporter, and they gladly stepped step in to help her while she goes away to college to raise her daughter. Dr. Riddick was determined to make it despite of all the obstacles that came up against her. Up in the rural South with a family that was never financially stable or well off, Dr. Riddick knew that education was her key out and for her family to become economically stable. Her parents built she and her siblings up with strength and encouragement and let them know that they are able to do anything that they put their mind to despite of the circumstances that they were born into. Dr. Riddick was always at the top of her class, always the one that is achieved the most honors because she was so focused on just making it out. And despite her academical success, she managed to still be a great and supporting loving mother to her daughter Anaya. She poured into her daughter constantly and instilled the same belief that she had that her parents helped her see that she could achieve all things possible once she put her head down and concentrate and focus on what was ahead of her. Dr. Riddick garnered such great respect and admiration from her peers and her family and the community that she left back in North Carolina decades ago. They were so proud to be associated with her and be part of her story. Our praise and condolences goes out to Anaya and John for the loss of their beautiful, resilient, and brilliant mother, and to Dr. Riddick's parents, siblings, and the rest of her family that she left behind. May her soul rest in peace, and she be an example for many young girls years and decades to come. Until next time on the Meaningful Talk Crime Doc, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch up with you guys later in the comment section.